Puerto Rican Voices is brought to you by the Center for Puerto Rican Studies, with the generous support of the New York City Council and Hunter College of the City University of New York.
Welcome to Puerto Rican Voices. My name is Edwin Melendez. I am the director of the Center for Puerto Rican Studies at Hunter College, CUNY. Today, we're talking about the evacuees of Hurricane Maria from Puerto Rico and the contributions of different organizations in New York. Today, over 1 million Puerto Ricans live in New York. To talk more about the New York response to Hurricane Maria, we have with us Surey Miranda. Surey is co-founder of Diaspora por Puerto Rico. She has a degree in political sciences and international relations from the University of Puerto Rico and a master's in economic and financial policy from the New School University. Thank you, Surey, for being with us today. We welcome you to Puerto Rican Voices. Surey, you work with Puerto Rican evacuees in New York City. Can you talk a little about what it is that you do and your experience in that regard?
First of all, hi Edwin. Thank you so much for having me here. The work we did, it was a reaction to all the help that was going to Puerto Rico, and we realized at some point that people were going to start to leave the island because people had different emergencies that were not they were not able to find the services. So we knew that we were going to see a flow of people coming in, and we didn't see that the state was prepared. So we decided to create, based on the experience we had when we initially moved to New York, a system to help people navigate, specifically to talk about expectations, and for them to know what to expect. What were the conditions that they had to undergo once they were here? So that was the inspiration behind it.
And moving forward, what would be your goals, objectives? What is the organization intending to do for evacuees?
So one of the things that we're really trying to accomplish is integrate people. We know that this is a huge challenge. We have people that are trying to adapt to a whole new idea of what is life. Specifically, there's like limitations in space. There's scarcity in terms of like housing. Limitations when it comes to language. So those are one of the things that we're trying to make sure we're able to accomplish, integrating our people, making sure that they participate and that they're active in their community, so they don't only worry about what is going on in Puerto Rico, but at the same time they integrate to their social and civil life here.
I think your mission and your activities really fill a gap in New York for the Puerto Rican community. And we appreciate all the work that you're doing. Let me present a clip about Diaspora in Puerto Rico, and maybe you can comment a bit more on the activities that you have carried out.
I would like to connect the community that it's people that are recently like coming like after the hurricane or from the years even before the hurricane to the community that has been here for decades. So we want to as well like build that bridge.
Yo llegué en diciembre del 2017 después del huracán María y en el mes de enero es que conozco a Diáspora. Fue donde supe de la organización a través de otras personas y que ellos habían llegado a hacer el acercamiento en el hotel donde yo residía, que era un hotel que se encontraba en el Bronx, y ahí habíamos 37 familias.
Mi nombre es Rafael Ocasio Barreto y soy parte de Diáspora por Puerto Rico. Yo conocí a Diáspora por Puerto Rico luego de llegar por los efectos del huracán María en noviembre del 2017 y me establecieron en uno de los hoteles en Queens, donde Diáspora por Puerto Rico llegó a ver cuáles eran las necesidades de los que estábamos allí.
Muchos de los puertorriqueños que llegamos aquí vinimos con necesidades de salud mental y yo creo que eso era parte de lo importante, o sea, de esos servicios que necesitábamos y canalizar cuáles eran las ayudas que la ciudad nos podía proporcionar. Nosotros no conocíamos nada, o sea, y llegamos en busca pues de ayuda, o sea, el huracán nos trajo lamentablemente a este país, aunque ahora pues las cosas han ido fluyendo y ha sido diferente, pero en ese momento estábamos como en un limbo, o sea, nosotros no sabíamos a dónde teníamos que ir, dónde podíamos buscar esos servicios, y yo creo que Diáspora fue esa persona que te dio el soporte y que te informó aquellas cosas que tú pues en realidad no conocías.
Inmediatamente llegué aquí a Nueva York, me dirigí el mismo día que llegué a esa organización a ver de qué manera yo podía ayudar a recaudar donaciones para la gente de Puerto Rico, a la misma vez para la gente que estábamos llegando. Y allí me recibieron con los brazos abiertos. Y luego pasé pues, por el sistema por donde pasamos mucho, a través de Julia de Burgos, para recibir los servicios, llenar toda la documentación para las ayudas y ir canalizando y recuperando los documentos que nosotros habíamos perdido en el huracán o habíamos dejado de la manera que salimos muy inmediata.
Lo que yo he podido aprender y escuchar de otras personas que son puertorriqueños, que llevan aquí muchos años, que tú escuchas las historias de ellos, cuán difícil ha sido poder encaminar, poder lograr tantas cosas que han logrado, como en uno de los casos nos quedamos. Que las personas que estuvieron aquí, los primeros puertorriqueños, se les hizo bien difícil poder lograr y obtener las cosas. A nosotros también se nos ha hecho difícil. O sea, nosotros estamos tratando de que a esos que llegan se les haga menos difícil, pero yo creo que en 1 año y medio ya hemos aprendido bastante.
Yo también comencé a estudiar y a hacer mis estudios en trabajo social comunitario. Y luego regresar a Puerto Rico, porque yo sí voy a regresar a Puerto Rico. Muchos dicen que no regresan. Yo voy a regresar. Yo soy un ave de paso que vino a Estados Unidos. Emigró por un tiempo, pero yo regreso a Puerto Rico. Algunos dicen que si estoy loco, no hay trabajo allá, pero hay mucho trabajo que hacer. Que no sea remunerado es otra cosa, pero yo regreso a Puerto Rico.
Coming up next at Puerto Rican Voices.
The fact that we have a Center for Puerto Rican Studies is something that you can't get anywhere else.
I'd say it's probably the most important research resource for anyone learning about the diaspora.
People who are passionate about our history and culture can go and learn more about who we are.
Centro pinpoints and expresses what Puerto Ricans are all about, what their history is all about, their culture.
As a journalist, it's very useful because it provides well-researched statistics of our communities throughout the United States.
And the journal is unique in that it is the only journal that publishes research articles on the Puerto Rican experience.
You can find old records, you can find old photographs, you can even find old puppets from the Pura del Pre archives.
It holds our history and protects it, and without Centro, without the archives, without the library, all these materials would be in jeopardy.
Welcome back to Puerto Rican Voices.
So Ray, now that you have seen that clip from Diaspora for Puerto Rico, why is it so important that communities here in New York, the Puerto Rican diaspora, connects to communities, to the civic sector in Puerto Rico?
So let me say something first. This clip just proves like the uncertainty that a lot of people had to face. And one of the beautiful things is that through the work we did with Diaspora was to provide people with information just to avoid any uncertainty, because as you know, uncertainty exacerbates anxiety, so that is something that we wanted to prevent. And there are a lot of organizations that had already existed in New York, So this is something that we didn't have to start. This was just a matter of connecting people to the right organizations that were here. And surprisingly, a lot of these organizations had not only worked here in New York, they're now also working in Puerto Rico. And one of the things through the work they're doing is for us as the diaspora to open the way for those that are in Puerto Rico. Our intention is not necessarily to take away or talk on behalf of them. What we want to make sure is that we're opening the way that for those that are really in need or those that are going to be impacted to be the ones to make the decision. And I'll add to that. Through the work we did specifically with evacuees, one of the things we wanted to do was to empower the community. We didn't want it to be the voice. We wanted to inform them.
Facilitate, right?
Yes, or facilitate exactly a connection for them to be the ones to speak about their needs, to speak about what is that they would like to see happen. Because at the end of the day, we didn't go through what they did. And we just wanted to facilitate this whole connection. We had to obviously kind of inform them about the different layers because there's a whole change coming from the island, having just like a governor. Here you have like the state, you have the federal level, and then you have the city level, which is a whole process that we had to go through to train them as to what is the ask that they can do to different elected officials. But that was something that was very helpful, and I hope that we can continue doing.
But this is an excellent point. The fact that the Puerto Rican diaspora has a whole infrastructure here in New York and in other places, but as you say, this is a completely new reality. And the evacuees from post-Hurricane Maria is a completely new reality that organizations needed to adapt to. And at Puerto Rican Voices, we actually went after a couple of those organizations and documented what they have done. So we're going to present a short clip on Acacia Network, and then on the other side, we'll ask you your reaction to that clip.
That sounds fascinating.
Acacia Network is the parent company of over 30 nonprofits. It started 15 years ago. Our CEO, Raul Ruzzi, a visionary, understood back 15 years ago that a lot of the nonprofits in the Bronx and a lot of the nonprofits that were founded by Latinos were going to disappear because of the lack of funding, federal, city, and state. And he decided to create a network in order to make sure that all those entities combined create what we now know as the Acacia Network, which is the largest Latino-led and Latino-funded organization. We do primary care, we do substance abuse, behavioral health. We are developers, affordable housing in New York and in Puerto Rico. So Acacia started, it's called Ráfaga Solidaria with Mezcolanza in Helen. So that was an Acacia initiative started, I will say, maybe 2-3 days after the Hurricane Maria. Acacia has supported Comité Noviembre throughout the years. Angel Santini works for Acacia, and he's been instrumental in some of the initiatives that we have here. So when Acacia decided to do this health fair, I asked Angel Santini if Comité Noviembre will partner with us to do the fair. So we have 3 initiatives with Comité Noviembre, and this is one of them.
Coming up next at Puerto Rican Voices.
I'm a Rican, finding my own way, anyway.
He was a wordsmith. He also taught us a lot about the meaning and the power of words and writing.
The living room and kitchen of many desperate souls, tumbao, street, gutted movements.
Tato is indeed one of the most important New Yorker poets, but he's also a major poet.
He truly captured the essence of so many people who walk the streets of New York that no one sees, and no one listens to, and no one knows.
Give us your tired, your beaten, your triste, soledad, and sing for me.
You write your obituary with the days of your life. Tato has written his legacy with the poetry in his life.
Don't single me out. Touch all our people. Touch all our people. And maybe then you can touch me.
Welcome back to Puerto Rican Voices.
Obviously, Acacia has done a lot of community work, and it's an important anchor institution to the Puerto Rican community in New York City and to other communities. Surey, in your experience, what is the importance of these networks and these institutions that we have in the community, especially as it relates to the post-Hurricane Maria situation?
So let me tell you something. This clip was fascinating. Liz Mari's, we have been working closely with Liz Maria and other folks at Acacia. They have been doing an amazing job here in New York City, specifically a lot of the evacuees. After they were transitioned from hotels, regular commercial hotels that were funded by FEMA, they had to be transitioned to the city's shelter system. And Acacia did an amazing job because there were a lot of speculation if the FEMA assistance was going to be continued. And all of a sudden, it was over, and they had to figure out how to house about 600 households in their facilities. And it was a very shocking situation, but they have been able to work with families. They have been able to accommodate their needs, specifically when it comes to language, cultural competency. They have been wonderful, specifically trying to provide those accommodations.
Obviously, Acacia is a multi-service organization, from housing development to direct services, running shelters, cultural events, and so forth. We also wanted to provide a broader perspective on the organizations here in New York. And one of those organizations, a very old organization, been around for a few decades now, one of that Centro is a member of, is Comité Noviembre. Comité Noviembre went out of their way to mobilize the community here in New York. And what I like to do is show you a clip, interviews that we did with members of that organization as they were serving the Puerto Rican community in the island and also here in New York.
Comité Noviembre is a 32-year-old nonprofit organization. A week after Maria, we had already set up a partnership with a group of businesses and Catholic charities and all of the members of Comité Noviembre. And, you know, a year later, we have raised about $500,000. That money is going directly to the nonprofits all over the island. We've given to about 50 plus organizations.
Entre eso, además de la ayuda que se está entregando de necesidades por toda la isla, pues también la necesidad de la ayuda física y mental de nuestro pueblo, que está bastante mal luego del huracán, porque fue algo muy fuerte para nuestro pueblo, el cual todavía estamos sufriendo las consecuencias.
After Hurricane Maria and after the first initial months, the stress of not having good drinking water and electricity was really weighing on the community. And Comité Noviembre and Estoy con Puerto Rico realized that we had to create some types of programs that would lift that depression. And sometimes we think, well, you know, a knitting workshop or a music workshop or a drawing workshop, how is that going to help? It is the most amazing thing, the camaraderie, the coming together of a community, of discussing issues, how that lifts and helps with depression, how talking about what you're going through with peers with children has been amazing.
Comité Noviembre, pues a lo largo de su historia, pues hay una serie de programas establecidos, como por ejemplo el programa de becas para estudiantes puertorriqueños. Nosotros tenemos 4 programas de becas diferentes. Programa de becas para estudiantes puertorriqueños regular, programa para madres solteras puertorriqueñas, trabajo social y de justicia social.
En octubre de 2011 comenzó el Mesón de Amor. Comenzamos en la calle Mariana Bracetti. Allí estábamos y comenzamos dando una cena diaria a los estudiantes de la UPR y empezamos con 25 estudiantes. Hoy en día ayudamos a más de 150 estudiantes diarios, gracias al Comité Noviembre, ¿verdad? Que nos está ayudando y nos están ayudando. Ya nos regalaron algo bien importante, los inodoros, los lavamanos, pero nos faltan manos porque tenemos que enchapar los baños porque queremos darle vivienda digna a los estudiantes.
Our advice, Comité Noviembre's advice is pick up the phone. You have a family member you have that knows a church that they're involved with, call them up. Say, what do you need? Because that's exactly what we've done also. We've gone to different towns. Don't be afraid, just contact us. And we'll whatever you can give, or we'll make sure it gets to the right people.
Coming up next at Puerto Rican Voices.
He was able to pull people together.
He was also one that did not focus solely on the Puerto Rican experience in New York, but made bridges to what was happening on the island, what was happening internationally.
I think he got his power from being so rooted in the community.
He changed the discourse. He made us talk about ourselves in broader terms.
Casi la mitad de los puertorriqueños están en Estados Unidos y no solamente en un lugar, sino en varios lugares, que en la isla mismo han habido procesos de transformación. Quiere decir que la cultura puertorriqueña no es una cosa dada así, sentada, petrificada, es una cosa constantemente en transformación, con una multiplicidad de formas de expresión que ahora se reencuentran en un evento como este.
Welcome back to Puerto Rican Voices.
Obviously, the work that these organizations are realizing with Puerto Rico and with evacuees here in New York is a fantastic work. Comité Noviembre, Acacia are examples of a broad range of organizations that have actually, stepped up to the moment, to the historical window that we face. Having said that, I think the attitudes of the Puerto Rican community in the island have changed substantially. The ones that come and see the work that these organizations do obviously have a very positive reaction and welcome and are thankful to all the solidarity that they receive. But when you go to Puerto Rico, you see that a bridge has been built, that we have renewed all those relationships that were a little spotty at times. So in your experience, what can you say about the impact of these bridges that we have reconstructed after Maria in relation to the long-term relationship between the island and the diaspora?
So let me mention something about the work Comité Noviembre has done, and I'll continue with what with the question. So through the work that Comité Noviembre has done, I think that we have been able to create that type of bridge because they have been doing a wonderful work here. And specifically, they do have a network, and I can attest to the power of that network because when they need something, they make sure they find it. And that is something that is fascinating. And I think that in a way, the work that not only Comité Noviembre but Acacia are doing in Puerto Rico, it shows that we're organized stateside, and because we're able to organize, put things together, we're then able to help our people on the island. And that is something that is fascinating, because if that power wasn't here, we would not be able to help the people in Puerto Rico. And I am thankful to their work. All that we wanted to do was showcase the existence of these organizations, because sometimes, like, they do represent a migration of an era that is probably probably before me, but they exist, and and not only me, like all the folks behind Diaspora, we're thankful to the existence of those organizations, because when we initially moved to New York, we were able to see that community. We were able to be part of that community, and what we want to make sure is that not only the folks that are moving from Puerto Rico stateside know about the existence of these organizations, but also the Puerto Ricans on the island know that these organizations are here, and we're here for the long haul.
Fantastic. This program is Puerto Rican Voices. We dedicate the interviews and the program to those voices that actually speak for our community on so many fronts, right? You've been a great advocate to the evacuees and to the relations with the island. And so for that, I thank you, and I thank Diaspora for Puerto Rico and all the other organizations that contribute to that. And I also thank the audience for sharing your time with us. And we hope to see you next time in Puerto Rican Voices.